So, without further ado, I'd like to invite you to the debate. This House believes that Europe should weaken austerity measures in order to guarantee its citizens greater social support. And I call upon the Prime Minister from the government side, Michael, to open the case for the proposition.
Well, dear ladies and gentlemen, what I would like to show you in my speech is that social support matters much more than some austerity measures, and actually, this social support, the greater social support, may even boost the economy. And I will show you in my economic view, a bit simplified than I would have said normally. So, firstly, we should define something. Austerity measures, as we understand it, those are the budgetary cuts that the government cuts from the spendings to the people. And the social support we understand as transfer payments. Those are the payments, support in unemployment benefits, money to mothers and these kinds of people, to physically challenged people and so. Well, the problem. What is the problem here? Well, last 4 years, Europe is being hugely affected by this crisis. It's the crisis that we have. It started in 2008. It still lasts. The 4 years of austerity measures, we haven't been doing anything but cutting our deficit, cutting our budgets. The austerity measures did not work until this point, and I doubt they will work further from this. So what is the problem? Well, 4 years of cutting have depressed the people so much that they are not. Well, 4 years increases is really taxing on minds of people. They do not have. They are not safe. Their states are cutting. The states are cutting on their benefits, on their support. They do not feel the support from the state. The people are really being
The authority measures necessarily does not solve the crisis. It's not really the only thing which should solve the crisis. Therefore, if you're saying that we are gathering some money and not solving crisis, the money gathering isn't the only thing which should solve the crisis.
Yes, of course, the austerity measures aren't, but I will show you that why these austerity measures are bad, in fact. Well, so let me explain you what does the national income, the national economy composes of. Well, two important parts of four are consumption by people, by consumers, and investments from industry. Consumption of people, that is what people spend on goods and services in their homelands. And if state is cutting on these social benefits, then the people in Slovakia, in all those states which heavily depend upon social supports because they have more or less social governments. There's the problem because the people have significantly less they have significantly less income to spend on goods and services. And the problem is that as consumption decreases, the economy is harmed as well. Because if the industries do not have demand for their goods and services, then the investments, what they invest into the state economy, into the industry to advance, is also decreased. And well, if we have two decreased parts from four, which compose the national income, the economy of the state, then we should be then it is clear that the economy wouldn't work. So the austerity measures are actually harming the economy instead of helping it in this way. And we would like to and what are the investments? Those are the employment levels. If investments are decreased, then we will have higher employment rates. And higher employment rates means, again, lower consumption. This is the vicious circle. If we decrease consumption, we decrease the investments, and vice versa. Well, so I would like to show you now why the social security is very important for the state, and why the people should feel safe that they are supported from the state in these hard times. Well, the social security actually makes people believe in the state. They have still some kind of they still feel that it matters, that they matter, that they should try to support the state on the way out of the crisis. If the state supports the citizens supports the state in its decisions. And I talk about about a will to pay taxes. If the citizens do not feel that the state is sufficiently taking care of the citizens do not have intention to pay taxes, and taxes are the major income for the government. The next thing, the people as a whole, as a group, if they are depressed, they work significantly worse because they do not have motivation. They know that there will be decreases for the 2 years, so they do not have anything to work. They really have to work hard, but their motivation is decreased, and this motivation is actually very important for the citizens. If citizens do not believe in the state, then we have a major problem, and the social support really matters. Thank you.
Great, I'd like to thank the speaker for his fine speech. I now call upon the leader of the opposition, Lotte, to open the case to the opposition side.
Thank you. Well, what was said by the government was that social support means more than austerity measures. Or, in fact, what they said, social support is more important than austerity measures. That sounds really nice, but the problem is that you can't have social support if you have no money. And when you're in a crisis, you need austerity measures to have your money. You have debts, and to pay your debts, you have to. You shouldn't weaken your austerity measures. So above there was said that the austerity measures haven't worked yet. As we already said in our point of information, that may look so, but helping our economy doesn't only depend on these austerity measures. There are so many other factors that play a role in this, but you can't do without the austerity measures. If you just keep spending money, you can't really get your economy again on a higher level. The second thing that was said was that social support in fact boosts the economy, because people spend more if they get social support, and well, in this way there's more produced and the economy will grow. I think that's not true, because what will happen in these times is when people get more money because of social support, they won't spend it. They will just put it aside, so they have money in new bad times. They will be careful with spending their money because they know it can be bad in the economy. So social support won't boost the economy. Well, we are against weaken the austerity measures, and that is because of this. There is a crisis. That's clear, I hope. There is a crisis, and we have to solve that. I don't think anybody is against that. The point is, nations have lots of debts right now, and if we weaken the austerity measures, these debts won't be paid very soon. These debts won't be paid, they maybe will even get bigger. And what happens then is that the younger generations, will have to pay it in a few years, 20 or 30 years. So what happens is that the crisis that is caused by the generation that is now working will at the end be paid by the generation that is young now and has nothing to do with causing the crisis. Yes?
Could you please tell me one example when austerity measures worked?
As I said, it's really hard to say that the austerity measures itself worked. They played a role in a bigger concept, in a bigger package of things that in the end will lead to a better economy. Yes?
Don't you think that there are other ways of getting the money for the social impact than actually borrowing them from other states?
How do you mean that, sorry?
That if you do not know of any other ways how a state, how a government may have the money to give people for social support, any other way than borrowing from other states?
Yeah, but money that is used for social support won't be used for paying debts. So in this way, the debts won't be paid as long as we keep giving social support. Well, this was why, in my opinion, we shouldn't weaken our austerity measures. Thank you.
Good. I'd like to thank the speaker for a fine speech, and now call upon the Deputy Prime Minister to continue the case for the opposition side.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will first do some rebuttal on our last speaker, and after that I will explain some more why why social support has so much positive results in the social way. Well, first of all, the last speaker said that claimed that austerity measures are in fact more important than social support. And yes, money is important, but we believe that people create the state. People, the mind, the spirit of people, how they feel, how they act, it makes the state roll. If people feel that they're underappreciated, they won't be dissatisfied and will probably not work very good. Second of all, you said that when people get social support, they will, no thank you, not now, that when people spend, people get money, they will save this. I believe that a lot of people will actually spend this when people get a little extra nowadays in, for example, Netherlands. A lot of people think like, oh, maybe we can go on a vacation now in the next year. A lot of people don't save this. And last of all, you talked about debts, that we still have to pay this off. The motion does not say stop with austerity measures, it says weaken. There still are some austerity measures because, well, this simply, we do indeed need to pay off these debts, but when we weaken them, we can offer the citizens greater social support, but we can also pay off some debts. Now, as for the positive, socially positive results this motion will have, my partner already mentioned it a bit. When people get more money from the state, when they have like social security, they will feel safer, they will feel supported, they get more trust in the state. When citizens don't trust the government, this creates a lot of tension. As you can see, yes?
Okay, so talking about protection, don't you think that the citizens will also feel protected when they know that the government will have enough budget to actually cover some debts in the future?
I think that, yes, people will definitely also feel more secure when they have that, but although people really find the future important because the future is important, I think a lot of citizens will also want a nice life for themselves, not just for future generations. Well, so when they don't trust the government, this creates a lot of tension, and as you can see, for example, in Greece, there can come riots and everything just becomes more unorganized, yes?
Don't you think that it is the duty of the government to think in the long term instead of like individuals in the short term?
Okay, thank you. Yes, obviously long time is important, but a lot of people nowadays have not caused this crisis too. So why is it really fair to give this generation all the blame? Because it has been caused by the people who caused the crisis, some people say, are now like in the 60s. So, no. Well, then also, with more social security, yeah, the common feeling of people, they will probably be more happy while they feel less underappreciated, which will cause a happier feeling, which gives them more motivation to work, to be productive, also not only in jobs but also in creativity. And creativity, all these things help in creating a good follow-up plan for the state. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the speaker for a fine speech, and I call upon the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Martin, to continue the case of the opposition side.
Ladies ladies and gentlemen, in my speech, not only I'm going to show you that principles and base ideas on the government are wrong, I'm also going to show you that their process and their solutions are harming us and are ineffective. And ladies and gentlemen, so let's begin by constructive part of my speech. I'm going to address 3 points. The first one, austerity. The second one, how the proposition's plan is leading nowhere. And the first one, why our side is more fair and better. So ladies and gentlemen, my first point, basically people create austerity, some amount of money which then government spends. Government spends, we think that mostly government spends this austerity in bad times, in bad situations. Things like, as my first speaker said, economic crisis for paying debts. It also may be things like war. So those are the money which basically somehow keeps us safe. Then government, if government wants to make those people happy, we believe that the government should not lower those authority measures, and I'm going to explain you that my second point. So moving to my second point, in my second point I'm going to show you how the proposition is ineffective. Ladies and gentlemen, we divide people who take these social support. Yes, there are mothers, there are people who are not able to work, but the biggest group of people are unemployed people. And we think that this matters. And the biggest group, yes, there are some people who don't work and they're active, that they're searching for their jobs. So we think that the majority of people, which is unemployed, is basically lazy. It's basically just sitting at home, watching TV and not being active. Gentlemen, I ask you, is the proposition fair if in times of crisis is putting those in times of crisis, so valuable money to people who are lazy, who sit at home, and then, no thanks, are not able to work. Yes, honestly, they spend some money. They spend some money and maybe solve the vicious circle. But we think that this, in its principles, is simply not fair. Moving to my third point, in this point, no thanks, I'm going to tell you why are we fair. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said and as I addressed in my first point, the money which is used at authority, the money is created by all the people. Therefore, in our case, the fairness means that we are going to spend those money or use those money among all people. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, in their case, all people build some amount of money, and only people who get social help enjoy those money. In our plan, all people, no thanks, build the money, and all people get used for money, again, in times of the economic crisis or in times of something really, really bad as war. Moving to my rebuttal part of my speech, listen, then they have told us a mechanism of a vicious circle. We, to some extent, agree that there is something that the vicious circle is a real thing, but we think that on our side, we use the authority measures in times of economic crisis to somehow boost the economy. Now I'm going to explain what do we mean by boosting the economy. Ladies and gentlemen, on the side of the government, they are putting money to people, and they think that those people will spend the money and make the vicious circle disappear. And here is the first fault. Gentlemen, it's not guaranteed that those people who will get the money will spend it. They may I don't know, they may put those money in their socks and wait 10 years. So then, firstly, they may not spend it. Or they may may not buy things from another country. No thanks. Basically, they rely on people buying products, and we think that this is not as stable. Secondly, gentlemen, companies sometimes go away in times of economic crisis, and that is really bad. Now, moving to the side of the opposition. Gentlemen, we are boosting the economy directly. We are putting some money to the economy, putting some money, I don't know, to the companies, to the people, to people who sell products. We are putting, and we are boosting the economy directly. On our side, the economy boost is legitimate, is not reliable, and it's very significant. Secondly, speaking about the constitution, in our plan, we again boost the company directly. We put money to companies, therefore they do not go away as they do on the side of the proposition. Another thing which I would like to address was that we, in this debate, we really missed a model. We really missed some set of mechanisms that the first government somehow forgot to tell us. So, gentlemen, again, if you believe that a side which is more fair, if you believe that a side which is more effective, and if you believe that a side which does not cause more harm should win this debate, then I beg you to vote for the opposition.
I'd like to thank the speaker for his fine speech, and now call upon the member of the proposition, Dimitru, to continue the case for the proposition side.
Thank you. We've basically had two teams that argued over social support versus austerity measures. The thing is, it's not about which one of these is more important, but more which one of these is more effective. And no team so far has proven whether either one of those measures is effective in any way. That's what I'm gonna do. And basically what we support is both. We do need austerity measures, we do need social support, but in certain amounts, because we do need to weaken the austerity measures in order to afford the social support. And what I basically mean is that austerity measures don't always work, don't work everywhere. For example, Italy or Spain, they don't work flawlessly. But sometimes they do work, and in certain amounts they do work. Please.
Since Italy introduced austerity measures, its economy started growing fastly. So I believe you're bad informed on this matter.
Well, as long as Italy and Spain are still part of the pigs of Europe, if we all know what the term means, I don't think that your point actually makes sense. Back to my own argument. Austerity measures are very harsh, but are they really effective? That's basically the question. Thing is, austerity measures sometimes do work, but sometimes do more harm. Because when people don't have money, they don't spend, meaning the economy goes down. Each country needs a decent amount of money flow in its economy in order for it to work. Basically, what austerity measures do is that it takes money from citizens, not allowing them to spend money because they don't really have a decent amount of money. What we propose, no thank you, is neither to go only with austerity measures, but neither to work only with social support. Basically, if we only weaken the austerity measures in order to let the citizens have a decent amount of money with austerity measures working in the said country, then we might have a working compromise. And that's what we want to get, because citizens matter. Citizens form the country, and citizens are a fundamental part of the country's economy. As long as the citizens have money, the economy might work, because we need them to spend money. As long as citizens don't have money, the economy won't work, because money won't be spent, because citizens don't have money. Yeah,
again,
please.
It's not guaranteed that if you give all the money to people, it's basically not guaranteed that they will all necessarily spend those money, therefore boost your economy.
That's exactly why we want austerity measures in place as well. We want both mechanisms working at the same time. We want austerity measures, but not the really harsh ones. We want weaker austerity measures in order to let people have a decent amount of money to make the economy work, to boost it in the social support way the first proposition team explained. Basically, our philosophy, what we want, is a state with a working economy. For a working economy, we need money to be spent. But in order to have money to spend, we need the state not to cut that much from people. Basically, we need a compromise. We need both austerity measures and social support. But in order to achieve this, in order to have both, we can't have really harsh austerity measures. We need weaker ones. So what my team proposes is weaker austerity measures and social support, both in action at the same time, in order to boost the economy the way both the proposition and the opposition team detailed so far. So because of these, because we do want safety, we do want austerity measures, because we do want people to have money, we do want social support, because we do need people to spend money, and because this is possible by weakening the austerity measures, we think that the motion should be passed. Thank you.
Thank the Speaker for his fine speech. And I call upon the member of the opposition, Thomas, to continue the debate of the opposition side.
Thank you, just a second. Okay, thank you, honorable debaters and members of the jury. We agree with the opposition, the closing government, in that the first two teams neglected some aspects of the discussions, but we also believe that they did the same. They talked in their entire speech. We only understood that they want to reduce austerity measures to some extent, so we can keep the solidarity. But they didn't tell us what extent, from where, what part of the austerity do you want to cut from. This is a very, very important fact, because all of you said that austerity affects economy, affects people buying stuff, but you didn't say where would you cut from, because we don't understand this direct connection between financial support and buying. This social support pays people, basically people who can't work. We have indeed mothers who. No, thank you. We have mothers who have to stay home and take care of their child. We totally agree with that. But we can't have people like it happens in Spain. You can get financial support for 24 months. Even if you work 6 months, then you get something because you lost your job, something to be retrained, and so in for 24 months you get paid with 400 euros per month, even though you haven't done anything. And another important aspect, and as I said before, the government, as probably some of the governments from Greece and Spain and Portugal wrongly understood before, this is not what social support means. It's not paying people so they buy other things. Social support means that you pay people so they can stay home. If you pay them because they can't work, that is fair enough. But if you have these measures are too extended, then things won't work. And yes, please.
So what do you stand for?
We stand for to keep the austerity measures at the moment as they are, because we strongly believe it is not the moment to reduce them. But I will get back to this later, before I answer your arguments. You said that Italy is one of the pigs of Europe. We are sorry, we don't understand this language, but that is not true. Italy, since Mario Monti became prime minister and implemented the austerity measures, its economy improved. The same as it happened with Romania, since it implemented austerity measures. Indeed, at the moment, things went bad in the public sector, but now after 3 years, the economy is it's much better than it was before the austerity measures. So I believe that these two examples show that austerity does work. Also, as we said before, we would like to remind you that social support does not mean that people come somewhere. Yes?
Well, maybe you have misspelled or misunderstood the causes of the better economy, because don't you think that there may be other factors, like, for example, exports, and the austerity measures do not have to play a role?
Sorry?
Well, that there cannot be other factors, such as the whole world economy improved in those 2 years. The Italy economy depends on how other exports, for example, that this can be the thing that...
I understood. In this, I would definitely agree with you if the economy of Europe wouldn't have reduced, contracted in the past 4 years. And because time is running out, I would like to remind you that what we are talking here is not about having money to go in a holiday. We are talking about the survival of the state. Because look at Greece, they were 2 times on the verge of collapse. When the state, the government can't pay the wages, so what are you going to do? And you have riots in the street, it gets to violence, and this is what happens if austerity isn't used well. And also we'd like to add that in Europe, although maybe people from Greece complain that they have lost their 3rd wage and, I don't know, their bonus for working during the night or working after 3 or so, still many countries in Europe, and especially Spain and Portugal and Greece, even Greece, still has a very high level of social support compared to other countries such as the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Right, I'd like to thank the speaker for his fine speech, and now call upon Michaela to finish off the case for the proposition side.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. At first, I would like to rebuttal the opposition team, because they're always talking about that austerity measures are really important, and they really didn't give us some relevant example, because they are always talking about Italy or about different countries, but they didn't give us relevant example. For example, country which economy grew up really because of those austerity measures. Because, for example, in Italy, there were those austerity measures, but there were really different and lots of different ways and factors which play a role in growing up of their economy. So we still think that there are really not some relevant statistics or some relevant ways have to show that austerity measures are that the austerity measures are really important and they are relevant, because we think and our team proclaims that the most important factor are people. Why we don't care about people? As my partner told, citizens are really important. Citizens are the most important factor in our country. Citizens are the most important factor in every country. No, thank you. Because we need to care about citizens. State is made of citizens, and where are citizens happy and where citizens feel safe, this is the best way how to build our economy. And we still think that opposition didn't proclaim that that citizens, when opposition told that if we give some money to citizens, they will save this money. There are not relevant statistics which show this. We think and we proclaim that when we give money to citizens, when we give them money, and when we build their happiness and their feelings of safety, they will spend much money.
On that point, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, having conditions uneconomically stable, do you believe that the country should go on just completing the wishes of its citizens, giving them more and more money?
We are not telling that we are going to give them more and more money. We just don't want to see our citizens no, thank you. We just don't want to see our citizens in a way that they will just take money from state for 1 year or for 2 years, and then we will just say them that they are lazy, like opposition team told. And this is the another thing which I would like to rebuttal, because they told that our citizens are lazy, but again, there are not relevant statistics and there are not relevant examples that our people are lazy. Maybe they just can't find work. This does not mean that our people are lazy. Yes?
You've just been talking about that Italy is not really a relevant example, because there were different measures? I'm sorry, but have we been speaking about specific measures?
I haven't been talking about different measures.
Earlier.
I really don't understand what you're going to ask me, so never mind. In my speech and our team just want to proclaim you that people are important, not some economical phrases, or not telling that when we give money somewhere else, people will be glad. No, people are important, and we should care about what other people feel and what other people want. And I think that the best example of what other people want are the big strikes in Greece, for example, where people didn't want austerity measures. So, thank you.
Great. I'd like to thank the speaker for a fine speech, and I call upon the summary speaker for the opposition side, Maria, to finish off the case for the opposition.
Okay, can I start? Okay, so we witnessed few logical fallacies in throughout this debate. Maybe our team did the same, but what can we do? So, okay, what I'm going to start my speech is that, of course, when it comes to austerity measures, citizens will never like them. Citizens don't like money being given away from them. But actually I'm going to try to prove you throughout this debate is that the country, yes, as the previous speakers claimed, should find the best way to protect its citizens. And when we have crisis, when we have actually unstable economy, the government should not anyhow lower the austerity measures, even though its citizens will always want more social care. So, talking about protection, what we heard from the proposition in the previous speech is that social care is the best way to protect its citizens. And they try to prove us through a few examples, but as a matter of fact, of course, that social care is actually giving them some support, but we cannot claim that social care will always make better the social status of all citizens. So as we know that austerity not 100% is always effective, on the other side, social care cannot be 100% effective as well. But this means that we cannot actually sacrifice lowering the authority, which we know it's very important, and I'm going to refer to that in my speech later, just to have social care that we know is only a little bit helping its citizens. So going on, the main difference between authority measures and social support is that on one side we have long-term effects, and on the other side we have short-term effects. So as I said, the government cannot always lean on what citizens want. And here we have an excellent example that happened in Greece. People in Greece wanting more and more, having credits taken, having social care taken, but now at the end they actually end up in a very bad economical situation. And even now they won't approve the authority measures. Why? Because they don't want money taken away from them. But actually the country is here always to know when there is unstable situation and to cut off of some, actually these are not rights, but I might call them luxuries that the citizens are getting. So citizens will always want more and more money. Citizens will always more and more care. But the real question is whether the country is able to give them this social support or this social support that they need. So authority is really important in a situation where we have crisis. And as we know, in the status quo, we do have a lot of crisis. So that's okay. So that's why we believe that the country should not always lean on the citizens' wishes, but should actually lean on the country's needs. So if the country needs austerity measures because it wants to regulate the unstabilized situation in its country, it will do so. And anyhow, it won't let these austerity measures being cut down. And also we had a point about consumption and contribution to the economy. But actually, I saw a really bad logical fallacy that if you give more social support to the people, they will go out on the street and buy stuff and just make the economy better. On the other side, when we have authority measures, those are measures to stabilize the economy situation. So we should not support citizens to not have jobs and then no thank you, and then give them social support. We should actually environment where they can get jobs and actually work. So this is how we are going to improve environment, and this is how we are going to contribute to environment. That's why to economy. I'm sorry. So that's why we believe that what we heard from the proposition were not actually examples and were not arguments relevant enough to actually prove us that we should prioritize this kind of social care. So that's why when we have in a bad economical crisis, we believe that what is crucial is to find the best measures, the best methods to improve this and stabilize the economy. We know that we can have both, and it's clear, even if we have authority measures, don't be cut down, we can still have both. But we should always turn on prioritizing things. And since we never from the proposition heard clear, brief reasons why this should not be so, why this actually should be a priority right now when we have an unstable economy, that's why we believe that you should oppose the motion. Thank you.
Fantastic. I'd like to thank the speaker for a fine speech and everyone here for what was a really good debate. I'd like to ask you to cross the floor, shake hands, be friends, and get out.